The real story here is that Cagney is getting a second chance and got a second chance pretty quickly. What does he have to say about the allegations against him?
Right, Cagney is just one of dozens of executives in Silicon Valley that had to step down from their positions as a result of allegations of mistreatment at their company. Now, I really pressed Mike Cagney on what have you learned from your previous experience? I did a lot of reporting over the past couple years about those allegations, and what he said is that he's very remorseful about what happened at SoFi, and the problem is that they let it grow too fast without determining what the culture was at the outset. Now there was allegations of sexual misconduct, mistreatment of women, nepotism in hiring, as well as basically not promoting women as fast as they should. And he said that at his new company, Figure, they spent a lot of time figuring out what the culture should be at the beginning. And I looked at an internal document. They have 55% of the company's executive team are women, 40% of the employees are women and minorities. 4 of the 5 co-founders are women. So he's clearly taken steps to improve the numbers. However, the company only has about 100 people. So the question is whether he can maintain that culture of cohesivity as the company grows.
Right. Clearly, it's great to hire more women, though that is not a defense for any former kind of behavior. This is a guy who was accused of creating a frat house culture that was especially toxic for women. There was a board investigation into a relationship he had with an employee. He lied to the board about it, allegedly, on top of a previous similar relationship.
But he has now said that he's admitting that he did have consensual sexual relationships with female employees.
And he says that won't happen again?
He's saying that won't happen again. It is interesting, though, if you look at the advisors and the board member, he has some very high-profile advisors, including Arthur Levitt, the former chairman of the SEC, also Blythe Masters, who's a very high-profile figure in the blockchain space.
So what are these investors and advisors telling you about why they're backing him?
So Mike Cagney proved himself at SoFi. He built it into the behemoth that it is.
He built a business, but he got ousted from that business.
The question here really is investors are taking a bet on the ethics and whether the morals at the new company, that risk weighing it against the ability of this company, which was valued at $365 million this past round, more than double the last round, whether it can become the behemoth that SoFi has become and become a unicorn in this space. And so far, the numbers have been pretty positive, so investors are really giving him the benefit of the doubt that he can rebuild the business he did at SoFi, and it's already expanding beyond home equity lines of credit. It's hoping to go into checking accounts, wealth management, unsecured loans, mortgage loans. So it's really following a similar playbook as SoFi, so investors are betting he can recreate that success without the culture problems.
It's a big bet. What does the competitive landscape look like?
So obviously there are the traditional banks that offer this, but it's very time consuming, it's very paperwork intensive. It typically takes 45 days. But some of the big banks do recognize how slow it is, so they are partnering with startups. For instance, US Bank and Wells Fargo are working with Blend to provide this online through their apps. There's also other digital upstarts like Point Digital Finance. So none of them are quite as fast as Figure is, but obviously they're expecting a lot of competition in the market.
And how has SoFi been doing since he left? I mean, they've got Anthony Noto in now as CEO. There was a lot of work to do to sort of get culture on track.
Right, absolutely. I mean, from what I've heard from my sources, there really has been a huge culture overhaul at the company, and that really took a lot of time. That firm is really working on and having some trouble expanding really beyond that core business of student loan refinancing. They want to reach every touch point of a millennial's financial life. So that means insurance, that means wealth management, they have a cash management account, and the numbers haven't really proven yet whether or not they've successfully been able to penetrate all of those other markets, but they're actively working on it.